Hello my lovelies, I don't really feel like being on camera today, so I'm going to talk to you about plastic surgery instead, mostly because I accidentally gave this woman lip filler lips, but you'll see that at the end. So the reason I want to talk about plastic surgery is because I was scrolling on TikTok a few months ago, cannot find the video anymore, I'm sorry. But it was basically this girl who was trying to describe how it made her feel to see people online crying about being so relieved that they no longer have their old nose, but their old nose looked like her nose. And I thought that was really good commentary on the subject. But when I look in the comments, there were a lot of people just telling her to shut up, and that people can do whatever they want, and that she was probably just jealous because she couldn't get her nose done. And I kind of realized that we might be in a late stage of normalization when it comes to plastic surgery, because I think that's what happens. People get shut down from just being able to have critical discussion over it. I do think that a lot of those comments come from a place of defensiveness over how people with plastic surgery get treated, because I think that a lot of people get really nasty comments, and I don't think that anyone should ever be harassed. At the end of the day, it is true that it is their body and their choice, and they can make that choice for themselves, and no, they don't deserve to be harassed, to be discredited. If you notice, a lot of the time people will try to discredit, for example, those in the entertainment industry, like, oh, she's a really great actor, but oh, look at all this work she has done. And even just the fact that it's called plastic surgery, there's something so dehumanizing about that. It's almost like we're saying that you're no longer a person, you're just plastic if you've had work done. That being said, I do think there should always be room for critical discussion, because it's not a simple topic, and although people may get stuff done for themselves and no one has the right to tell them not to, people's insecurities, individual insecurities, don't exist in a vacuum, right? And what you do with that kind of stuff always has an effect on others. It's kind of like the same thing as, well, it's not the same thing, but it's a similar issue to when, let's say, you are like me and you're in a bigger body. I had so many experiences being around girls that were skinnier, way skinnier than me, and they would be like, oh, I've gained so much weight, and or I'm so scared of gaining weight, or whatever, right? And they were, of course, talking about themselves, but there was always kind of an unsaid bias against what my body looked like, right? If you're so unhappy with what you look like now that you've quote unquote gained weight, or you might gain weight, what does that make me, right? You're painting that in a negative light, and I am already fat, so therefore I am already negative or undesirable. And it's the same thing, right? If you are constantly trying to change what you look like, you are sending messages to people around you that that is something they might want to do as well, or that they are undesirable. So I think that having this push of making plastic surgery seem like an individual choice and an individual solution is inherently flawed, because it's a symptom of a much larger problem, a very systemic one. And we can see that because if we look at who is more likely to get plastic surgery, well, it's women, right? And it's not like women are innately more likely to get plastic surgery. It's because there is a gendered pressure on women to look beautiful for as long as they possibly can, to look young. And if they can't, well, they just gradually lose their value, because under the patriarchal system, women's beauty, women's looks are sort of the epitome of their value, and it kind of just mostly stops there. And we can look at race as well, whose features are more desirable. Usually those are very Eurocentric. And you could spend forever talking about each of these things, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's never just individual, because we can see, trends and patterns and how different groups of people get affected differently, in terms of beauty standard, in terms of pressure to look a certain way. And I mostly want to talk about class today, right? Because one, capitalism and businesses and plastic surgeons stand to gain a lot from a society that is very self-conscious about looking a certain way. And then also under class, you know, if we're going to say that plastic surgery is an individual choice, that people get it done for themselves, well, that might be true in the sense that you were suffering under the beauty standard, and so you decided to, you know, pay and be able to match that beauty standard. Fine, right? Like, that is valid. I don't think that it's okay for anyone to judge anyone through what they've been through. You know, there's a lot of stories of young kids being bullied for their features and, you know, finally being able to get that nose job and feeling really good about themselves, right? At the end of the day, though, that leaves a lot of people behind if we're going to say that plastic surgery is an individual solution, because only the people who can afford to get work done are going to get work done, right? And so it becomes this class thing where the rich can fit the beauty standards and can get better treatment and, you know, etc., etc. And then the poor, you know, for better or for worse, like, quote unquote, get to stay ugly. And so it just further perpetuates a hierarchical class system. And I mean, like, these are very bare bones points that I'm making right now, because you can't really even separate race, class, and gender the way I just did. It's very intersectional. They all kind of interact in unique, oppressive ways. I think my closing argument here is that we should always have critical discussions about what plastic surgery is without attacking individual people. Because if we don't have these discussions, we're not pushing back on our systems of oppression. We're not pushing back on, you know, why it is that people want to get work done. Like, what is the bigger issue at hand? We're not pushing back to the beauty standards that affect people in unfair ways. And I think that if we ever get to the point where we just kind of accept plastic surgery as an individual thing, you know, we're going to be doing everyone a great disservice. So yeah, these are my thoughts. I'm sure plenty of people disagree. I also didn't prepare a script, so I just kind of mumbled, but I think I kind of said what I wanted to say in some way. I hope you liked what I drew here, and I will see you next week with hopefully my face on camera. Okay, bye!